Yeah, we'll get those picks and bans up on the screen for you and see if that's their choice. If they choose to try and ban something away for it. I think a big problem was that Dwurst just didn't get off to a good start with Artio.
No, not at all. And that's not necessarily what you have to do. I think that Dwurst expected to be behind a little bit. That's why he went Bumba's Mask. He went for Hand of the Gods, trying to make sure he would confirm his own blue buff, not allow Astral Authority to invade it. But at the end of the day, I think it hurt him more than it helped because the teamfight presence wasn't as impactful.
MOR Wolves never let Dwurst get off the ground that game. Continued to pressure in that solo lane. Obey Alliance going with first pick this time, banning away the Coviiii and the Odin, while Astral Authority gets Soul out of there, which is surprising because they had such a good game on it.
I think that they're respecting Delta Marine's potential on the Soul.
Sure.
You know, he can play a lot of gods. Soul is one of those gods that can do a lot of damage with the Stellar Burst and slow you at the same time, so it's a double win.
And that does mean that Skadi gets through. Oftentimes we see her banned in that slot, so Obey Alliance now will have that high-pressure hunter on their side.
Astral Authority locking in Ratatoskr for themselves this time instead of the Susano, trying to maybe make a statement even, saying like, all right, Myflin, you play a decent Ratatoskr, but I'll play one a little bit better.
Yeah, Myflin didn't quite have the impact that he wanted to have on that Ratatoskr, so now we'll get to see Astral Authority give it a try, but Hebo and a Wheelix picked up, and there's already some synergy between them.
That's the staple pick for Delta Marine. He loves the Hebo. He loves to get in everyone's face, throw the hands, throw the water hands, trying to create that tidal wave, and Willish will just wait for that initial knockout from the water spout, pull somebody in, get the feather step off, and then just get the kill.
And we saw it earlier today. If you don't zone a Hebo correctly, he'll just walk up and take the Fire Giant. So Astral Authority, make sure that if you take a Fire Giant, you got eyes on Hebo.
All eyes on Delta Marine this game. He's going to be either, it's do or die, honestly, for Obey Alliance here. Like, if Delta Marine doesn't go off from the early game, then it's going to be very tricky to get back into it.
The rough part is, though, they already lost that first game. That was their chance to catch up to Astral Authority. I believe they were down 3 points. So even if they split here, they wouldn't be able to catch back up to them at this point. But they definitely want to get every point they can. Quan
Yu locked in for Astral Authority. Not a very common pick. Could be going for Brochacho. He will every now and then play a warrior in the support role, considering how low of a cooldown the heal is. Once you maximize the mechanics of Guan Yu, dashing through enemies, healing your allies, and then consistently reducing your cooldowns by 2 seconds, it's basically a heal bot come the mid to late game.
And it really feels like as Ares gets locked in for Astral Authority, Obey are focusing almost 100% around this Awilix pick between the Hebo and Bacchus. That's a lot of setup. I mean, even Sun Wukong has the knock-up, too, on the Noxfall.
That's true. He's going to be able to prevent himself from getting knocked up, knocking up many members on top of himself. It's going to be very juicy targets from Astral Authority if your name is Myflin.
Yeah, Myflin is going to be looking to get the most out.
Oh, what? What? Myflin is playing the Hebo instead. It's Delta Marine mid with a Willish?
Fortunately, they took the camera off me because my mouth was wide open just now, Toli, as it's Delta Marine who's choosing to take a Wheelix into the mid lane, and instead we're going to have the jungle Hebo on Myflin. So what is it a Wheelix does for you in mid?
Well, it's all about just the damage. It's more about kill opportunity than anything else. You're really trying to catch somebody off guard. But this time around, I don't think Astral Authority is going to get caught off guard at all. They're just going to play the same way because Myflin and Delta Marine are normally going to play together, but instead, Myflin's going to make this rotation on the right side.
And that Feather Step's one of the highest damaging abilities in mid as Myflin gets slowed now and is taking a lot of damage. Sprint does come out. That's enough to get Myflin out of damage for the out of danger for the moment, and even get some good return back on the Wolves in purpose. But as I was saying, Delta Marine, that Feather Step, a lot of damage.
Yeah, and especially rooting you in place, and that's something to be mindful about. A chains from behind. Brochacho making the rotation, finding the early first blood, and this time it's Wolves getting credit.
And that's what they have to do. They have to punish Myflin on this Hebo. If they let him just farm, he'll get to carry. Now Zachsy and Delta Marine are free to rotate over and invade this speed buff at least. So they're doing something to try and get a little bit back, but the counter invade onto the blue is happening from KhaoticPurpose and Wolves.
Without the water carpet, it's so easy to lock down a Hebo just in place, especially before level 5. The beads was not enough to get away. Even if the beads were used to negate the slow from the chains, the first one already connected. The damage was certainly going to be there.
Knock it up onto MOR Wolves. That's what we're talking about. Even the little mini root coming out from Delta Marine. The heal keeps him alive for the moment, but a good rotation over from Am Dwurst locks him down. Delta Marine gets credit for that one.
And Myflin is going to sit in mid lane for a little bit, soaking some solo farm for himself after getting first blooded. This is what you need to do to try to stay relevant into the game. Coviiii, though, now playing into that mid lane here. I'm not sure if it was necessarily a role swap or what's going on here, because both Delta Marine and Myflin have Bumba's masks, so they're just going to start rotating and clearing some camps.
And this means that their plan is to be in the jungle a lot between these two. They definitely think that they're going to be able to get the most farm off the map on this. Doesn't work so much when they're together, because the Bumba's mask only goes to the one that got the last hit, but the two of them separately will be in the jungle a lot.
Already getting the oracles here for Obey Alliance. They were able to recoup some of their losses after losing Myflin. They are still on the same pace in terms of levels between Myflin and KhaoticPurpose. Slightly behind in experience per minute, but it's not too much to write home about.
Both teams are, it looks fearful to me, totally, of the control that the other team's going to put out. Both teams picking up 3 beads instead of, normally we see a third team fighting Relic in there, like another sprint or a shell. This time, it's Astral Authority with 2 shells and 1 sprint coming out from Obey.
They're respecting the damage from Myflin. Once he hits level 5.
That's 4 beads for
That's
Obey.
3 beads from Astral, 4 on the side of Obey Alliance. Yeah. That's correct. They want the double shell from Astral to negate a lot of the damage, burst damage from Myflin. The tidal wave is going to come and it's just going to do a lot of damage. But on the flip side, the sprint is also going to be very important for Obey Alliance to cut the distance or to escape before cooldowns are available for Myflin to spam that water carpet.
And I think this is a lot of respect for Albro Chacho on this Ares, is what we're seeing from the relics from Obey. They don't want to get all pulled in and then immediately followed up. That's one way they can make up for make up for this Transonics. He's able to do a lot of damage if they're all grouped up, as is Coviiii on this Raijin, so avoiding getting pulled in by Ares is going to be big.
That's right. Jelly can easily initiate now. Belly Flop, Intoxicate. If the counter initiation from Brochacho's chains and ultimate come through, he'll just beads and walk away. The rest of Obey Alliance can really capitalize on that slow ultimate after the fact.
And I'm glad you brought up pbnjellly. Sometimes with Bacchus, we'll see them pick up Blink. That way they don't have to initiate with their belly flop. They'll still have an escape available for them at the end of it, but that's not going to be an option, as we see a lot of Obey grouping up to try and invade this speed one more time.
I think Astral might be sniffing it out, though. They're going to let that invade go, sit in the mid, confirm their own red buff at the same time, and try to soak up some farm in that dual lane, because Zachsy was last hitting for so long that wave started to group up.
And they should have the timers at least for the inverse boss, the boss or Obey Alliance, and be able to go down, because I think they were the ones that picked the speed and blew up last time. So maybe they'll try and have some presence there, but already making the rotation are Delta Marine and pbnjellly.
Wolves, after that one initial first blood, taking a spill, unfortunately, giving up whatever lead that he did build up for himself. It's actually Dwurst now with a nice little experience lead. Bottom of the actual game is Wolves, less than 400 per minute.
Wolves have been struggling a bit to farm up in that solo lane. It's just because he's having a tough matchup up against Sun Wukong, who we know can be a real bully over there in that solo lane, able to clear with that cudgel so easily.
But not only that, you could still heal up if you're Wolves, but the clear eventually, once Dwurst gets level 9, you max out the cudgel or the Master's Will. Doesn't really matter which one at that point. You're still not going to be able to keep up with the heal. That's normally the counter matchup there, where you put any healer, whether it's Ra or Hell, even Guan Yu, you let the warrior clear, and then you're just waiting for the counter clear, and then you're going to have the next wave under your belt.
Oracles go the way of Obey Alliance, so they get a bit of vision. Dwurst does have the option, though, with that Tiger Stun to try and interrupt Wolves during the Talu Assault that could be happening. It's a little difficult if you're in the minion wave to get that off, because you can end up hitting the minions too, but it's something that certainly could shut down some of his damage.
There's a lot of mechanical little tricks such as that. Also, what Dwurst can do is, instead of even Tiger Stunning the Talu Assault, he could just Ox Form.
KhaoticPurpose, though, up in the air. He's laying down on top of Zachsy. They do get the stun off, and he has the beads in return. Transonics, though, long range, cleans that one up. Myflin repositioning with his own ultimate, unable to secure any kills.
No damage there available. So easy to abuse a god without an escape. Zachsy playing the Skadi. pbnjellly, though, right around the corner, trying to think about jumping in there. But as I was talking about before, the Ox Form is not going to cancel out the Talu Assault. But the whole idea there is you Ox Form to knock up the Guan Yu before the Talu Assault, and therefore the wave is going to start separating itself left and right, so the Guan Yu is going to have a more difficult time of full clearing the wave, whereas you're just going to be able to clear it first before that heal comes off.
MOR Wolves still a little bit behind Am Dwurst over here in the solo lane, but KhaoticPurpose on this Ratatoskr showed us a little bit of what that global pressure can do, especially up against the immobile Skadi. That's something we're going to need to see a lot more from in this game.
Trying to poke out Dwurst because KP's right around the corner. It was just a bait, but now Dwurst needs to go in the sky to heal up and make sure that he wasn't going to get taken out, simply because that Tiger Sun is his form of damage, but it's also his form of escape in the Eagle form.
And that's a pretty free ultimate that they got out of the Wukong, out of Dwurst in that solo lane. They didn't really give anything up for it. All their relics are available. KhaoticPurpose gets pulled in, has to use his beads, so yet again another free cooldown taken away. Speed
buff was being looked out. A little miscommunication between Myflin and Delta Marine of who should actually pick it up, but instead it's finally going to be Delta Marine. Jumping away is Coviiii. Brochacho is here, but so is pbnjellly.
Now everyone on Obey Alliance is going to back off, try and pick up these fire elementals instead. This right side of the map has been a big focus as pbnjellly jumps on to Brochacho, but that was an immediate call for the ult out for MOR Wolves. He kind of just goes through the fight dealing damage, but the ultimate from KhaoticPurpose lands down on top of Delta Marine and forces him back.
Brochacho not able to connect the chains to cripple out Delta Marine. That certainly would have been a kill, but no beads on Delta Marine. He's going to get pulled back in. There's going to be a lot of damage there as Coviiii drums on in.
Coviiii, that drums were perfect to set up Delta Marine, who still hasn't fallen yet. Enough time for Dwurst to rotate into the back of the fight. Delta Marine does fall, but KhaoticPurpose gonna fall in return.
Dwurst missed a cudgel, but he gets the in-hand. Jelly's in a lot of trouble because the chains are connecting, and it kills him before the burp stun actually comes out. Kovi's gonna retreat under his tower, but the rest of Astral Authority are healthy enough with the healing from Wolves to keep putting pressure under this solo tower.
In the end, it is a 2-for-1 in favor of Astral Authority as they take down Delta Marine and pbnjellly, only losing, I believe it was KhaoticPurpose in trade for it. So now they're a little bit out in front, only about 400 gold, so not too significant, but showing that they can do a good team fight.
The key to the success of that team fight for Astral was the fact that Transonics made that rotation, whereas Zachsy sat in mid lane trying to clear the wave. Transonics expected a team fight to happen because of how aggressive KP was initially.
Poor Brochacho, he's getting caught out and rooted in place there by Caldir. That secured the kill for Zachsy. Belly flop on a 2-member Celtic. Delta Marine for the pull. The beads come out in the middle, though. Transonics looking for the turnaround, almost gets it.
Even gets the rewind off at the same time. Just needed one more in hand, maybe some more damage from KP or Coviiii, but still surviving at the end of the day. Some relics were expended, but walking away cleanly. Transonics showing us all why he is the top tier elite console hunter.
Brochacho, though, does take a spill to the aggression from Obey Alliance, so that's another bit of a return that Obey were able to get there, and that's pretty important, trying to keep this Ares from having an impact, because if he's behind and goes up into that ult, they can just turn and burn.
He's a very slow mover during that ulti duration. I think he gets limited about 50% of his movement speed or so, making him a lot easier to connect with your in-hands, with your abilities, and that's something that Astral Authority needs to work around a little bit. That's why they have the double shell.
And this matchup for Transonics and Zachsy is really important from these AD carries. A lot of the times, it's really rough trying to box a Skadi, but Transonics does not seem afraid at all in this Kronos. He's standing toe-to-toe.
And that's something, as a mage ADC, you're looking to exploit against a Skadi that doesn't have lifesteal. You just consistently poke them out, finishing off Transonics, or the Transcendence, rather, on Zachsy. Transonics needs to be mindful about that.
KhaoticPurpose goes up to the air, and MOR Wolves gets on top of the horse. Delta Marine is the one that's the subject of all their ire, half health, but able to start running away, but it's all of Astral Authority that are here on the back end of this fight.
Still chasing it down. Brochacho doesn't have the blink or the sprint. He has 2, has 3 onto Jelly. He's going to get the pull off as well. The beats will be expended by both of them, and the return fire on the right.
pbnjellly actually jumps back in. Astral Authority very low. He pays for it, though. MOR Wolves gets credit for that one. Up in the air is Dwurst, and he slams back down on top of Wolves.
He's not done.
Then he gets the double kill.
He got
on
the double onto Chacho under the tier 1 tower. Myflin eating a little bit from Coviiii. Delta Marine, though, will jump into the blue buff, recognizing that there is no ultimate available from the Raijin. Trading tower for tower, though, mid for left side between these two hunters.
Zachsy makes a bit of a rotation, but just stops in mid, while Transonics is free to stay in left lane. He hasn't quite taken it down, but no one is in position to stop him. Now he'll get that cleaned up, and as you said, the towers were 1 for 1, and I believe the kills were as well.
Not able to really make anything happen in the solo lane after the fact, though, despite a lot of members falling there. It's going to be the blue buff steal and the trade with Gold Fury still up, not wanting to put pressure on it quite yet because these two hunters are still stacking. Zachsy going for the Transcendence, wants to get a bigger mana pool, more MP5, just to be able to spam the Permafrost and the Ice Spear, relying on the Kaldir physical damage, whereas Transonics is building into the Warlock Sash stacks, trying to get more health to survive, absorb some of these abilities, and get that important rewind off.
And everything's just about evened up here in this game. Gold, kills, even the experience at this point, as Dwurst was able to get a double kill over there in solo, so it was in Obey's favor, the kill count at least. Now Obey Alliance looking very, very close here up against the top team in Astral Authority, even after a rough loss in Game 1, showing some of that veteranship, being able to stick around and look good in Game 2.
It's Dwurst's time to shine now, instead of Wolves playing the Sun Wukong with a 3-level or 2-level lead now, as Wolves hits that level 11 marker. With Thorns available for Dwurst, he's able to really effectively dive the backline, trying to bait out Coviii's damage even when the ultimate, pop the Thorns, and then heal everything back up by going into the sky, creating a second body on the field, and making a distraction.
And El Brochacho really needs to have a big impact on this Ares right now. Do you want to see him burn beads or have someone burn beads for him?
I think, honestly, he should be the one burning beads. Wolves can easily do a lot of damage with his horse. As long as he can confirm every single hit of the Guan Yu horse, whoever doesn't have any sort of escape will be that primary focus, but it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because Wolves needs to do the damage, but then also sit back with his team and heal at the same time. So there's going to be a death ball for Astral Authority in these team fights. They're going to ride together and die together.
MOR Wolves is getting stunned out. KhaoticPurpose took that as enough to get up into his ultimate, and Wolves goes into his ult as well, trying to stun out pbnjellly. KhaoticPurpose lands not quite on pbnjellly, but they do get damage. Myflin dies on the back end.
Transonics actually picking off Myflin in the mid lane. Jelly, though, is going to be in a lot of trouble as he's taken out by Brochacho. Dwurst needing to heal up a little bit into the Somersault Cloud. Will land back down.
But Transonics is coming in on the back end of the team fight, taking a lot of damage from Delta Marine, who has to get out of there, still gets stunned. Aegis comes out, and Kaldier's on top of Transonics, trying to hunt him down. It is enough to force out the rewind as Brochacho dies to Delta Marine.
Coviiii in the ultimate. The Thorns is popped by Dwurst, returning all that damage onto Coviiii, but Wolves will heal his mid-mage a little bit longer. As these team fights keep progressing, Astral Authority will be the beneficiary on the top of it because of the sustain from Guan Yu.
Brochacho falls there in that engagement. Dwurst is just too big right now. He's walking up to try and fight against 3 members on that solo lane side. He does end up backing up and not getting anything more out of it, but he's actually still looking for the speed.
He actually didn't get it, though, but KP walks away cleanly. Wolves will spot Dwurst out, call out his rotation, trying to make sure that nothing's going to happen. Goldfear, though, getting pulled very low and just sneaked, just like that.
KhaoticPurpose did jump in there, but I don't believe he was able to actually contest it. He falls, Dwurst falls, Transonics falls. 2 members have already fallen, 1 on each side. Myflin actually goes in aggressively with his ult, doesn't quite get the damage that he was looking for. Now Wolves up on the horse, and KhaoticPurpose lands in too. Big belly flop, though, from pbnjellly, cleans him up as Coviiii takes down Myflin.
A 2-for-1, KP sacrificing his life. Transonics is going to fall victim as well. It was a great Aegis from Coviiii, preventing the damage from Myflin's ultimate, but unfortunately for Astral Authority, pbnjellly's belly flop Intoxicate caught him off guard.
Now Astral Authority are looking for the Portal Demon to get something back in return. Good knock up into the belly flop. Delta Marine gets credit, but 2 chains gets 2 pulls. Delta Marine and pbnjellly get pulled back into danger. They're going to walk away, though, as there wasn't very much follow-up.
Just too many dead members on the board because KP and Transonics just now reviving, so not able to really capitalize off of those 2 chains. It was more important for Brochacho to get the CC immunity and force a disengage than allow the damage from Obey Alliance onto himself.
Importantly, though, they do stop them from taking the Portal Demon. So nothing actually gets taken back for Astral Authority on the back end of it. Obey just get the Gold Fury, they get the kills, and now they're the ones who are up about 2,000 gold.
A lot of action in the second game.
Yeah.
9-9 read the kills. More than 1 kill on average per minute played in the game thus far.
And right now we're seeing that being reflected as pbnjellly is a little bit ahead of El Brochacho, but and Dwurst is ahead of MOR Wolves. But other than that, things are looking even. I mean, Myflin way out in front of KhaoticPurpose, though.
That 3-level lead, the experience gap is certainly showing itself. Myflin playing this jungle, quote-unquote, Habois has been working out for them thus far. It was a slow start as he did get first blooded, not really respecting the rotation potential from Brochacho, and that's something that he's been known to do every now and then. He'll kind of pull a surprise level 1 play on you if you're not ready for it.
And because of the way Myflin and Delta Marine played it, it kind of didn't matter where they went lane-wise. They grouped up a lot and just got a lot of jungles. They made sure they were ganking often. So they really got the most out of both the Hebo and the Awelish so far as pbnjellly jumps in.
Couldn't find the range, though, for that burp after the fact, and that's something that is unfortunate when you try to belly flop over that mid-heartbeat wall. It's so telegraphed that you're going to hear it, you're going to see it coming from a mile away. Plenty of time to get off your escape before the initial stun.
Wolves avoids the Tiger stun and is able to get back to his tower line as Transonics got ganked over here in the left lane. Zachsy looking for some kind of return, but no way. Coviiii ends up cleaning that up.
It was actually Zachsy that was in a 1v3 position. Before Coviiii got there, Zachsy killed Transonics, even with KhaoticPurpose, right on his tail.
Just a really big play there for Zachsy to at least make sure it was a 1v1 trade. And in response to that pressure, the Obey Alliance come right over here and take the Portal Demon using Myflin's ult to secure it, and they're getting away scot-free.
Not worried about any Gold Fury attempt because that's not responding for another minute and 45 seconds. Obey Alliance are slowly but surely building themselves a comfortable lead here in the second game, despite losing that first game pretty handedly.
And what we're seeing is the difference, once again, the solo jungle matchup. Last game, it was Wolves and KhaoticPurpose. This time, it's Dwurst and Myflin.
You can never count out certain teams, whether it's the PC or the console, because the defending world champions, Obey Alliance, formerly Eager, have been through it all. They had their losing positions. They've had their winning positions. They know what it takes to win Smite. And then similar in the PC side of things, Energy Esports qualifying through the European Gauntlet. When everything is on the line, they know how to bounce back.
And we've been seeing a lot here from Obey Alliance. Like you said, Astral Authority can bounce back, but it's not going to be easy. Going up against this Hebo, who's essentially been able to free farm, Delta Marine as well, as pbnjellly lands on top of Transonics, gets the stun, but there really isn't any follow-up. He's actually got the Mad Guy's Blessing to get him away from that stun, too.
Going to be able to walk away for the moment, too, paired up with Zachsy. So there's a little bit of fear onto the Caldera and the Skadi, trying to walk away from him, even though because of how tanky Jelly is currently, sitting at level 13 with the Mad Guy's Blessing, it's going to be very difficult now for Brochacho to just use that ultimate.
We got a quick pause coming out here, but no problem. We'll be able to get y'all back into the game. While we got a moment here, I want to talk to you about Ares here, the El Brochacho and this Ares. I feel like they haven't been able to get everything out of it that they've wanted.
They got the initial first blood, but after that point, it's been a slow and steady decline afterwards because of those 4 beads, honestly. Even pbnjellly on a Bacchus support will pick up those beads simply because there's a lot of strategies between competitive Smite where they'll focus the support, try to shut him down, feeding off of somebody, honestly. And when a support goes in without a cooldown of an escape, he's an easy, juicy target.
They gave a lot of respect, I believe, to Brochacho very early on. Like you said, even in their relic choices, just making sure that he wasn't able to get out of control on that Ares pick. Instead, it feels like Myflin on this Habois that's got out of control.
And he came back after that first blood deficit. He was able to still stay relevant by soaking some of that midway farm by himself. He got back into the game. He made some crucial plays there, getting off a lot of water sprouts that set up Delta Marine playing the Awelish.
And don't forget, we've got KhaoticPurpose on an Awelish in the mid lane this game, and it's working out for Obey Alliance. No problem. MOR Wolves gets pulled back in. Good knockup from Myflin, and the cleanup as well. Right back into a hot gank. It looks like for the moment, though, Dwurst might still be out of the game.
It seems that way. The pause has happened, but the rest of Obey Alliance is just going to continue to play it out 4-on-5. But now it's technically a 4-on-4 with Wolves and Dwurst out of the action.
And this is so important as Coviiii takes half his H-bar already. KhaoticPurpose goes up and lands down on Delta Marine, who's able to jump right on out of there. Coviiii on the Tycho drums, looking onto the Zachsy on the back end of the team fight. Myflin blinks in, KhaoticPurpose gets taken out, and here come 3 chains. No one gets pulled back in, though. pbnjellly actually beadsing while he had Mad Guy's blessing up.
Zachsy also having to use the BTs, sitting very low with that red health threshold, able to escape, but still in a 4-on-4 situation, they pick up KhaoticPurpose. Wolves now respawning here, so Obey Alliance are still winning these engagements, even without Dwurst in the game.
But I don't know how long that's going to be sustainable, Tony, if Dwurst doesn't make it back in. The reason that went so well is because they got a 2v1 pick against MOR Wolves, where the fact they were down a member didn't really matter, then a free 4v4 fight. So once everyone regroups and pushes back in, this might go a little bit rougher for him.
So unfortunate, though, for Obey Alliance, simply because of the impact that Dwurst was able to provide for his team throughout this whole entire game, being that bait factor, being able to go into the sky afterwards with that somersault cloud. He was able to just confirm a lot of damage.
The good news is, though, they still have a good chunk of their lead in Myflin. As long as they play through him, they can still have a big impact. pbnjellly going with the belly flop on 2. It's Transonics that gets pulled back in, but it's MOR Wolves who's low. Heal comes out to keep him up for the moment as KhaoticPurpose lands back in. Delta Marine's got to run for the moment, but Brochacho's not going to let him get away.
Wolves is trying to heal up in the backline. Delta Marine, though, will get taken out. KP strikes first blood in this team fight.
He does strike first blood, and Brochacho is now going to hang out on a Myflin. He's got pbnjellly, though, a big Elvis Presley bodyguard to try and help out. That does create enough space for him. Belly flop on the KhaoticPurpose, but they just don't have the follow-up on it without Delta Marine.
No damage available without those feather steps, and they're fighting 3-on-5. The DC from Dwurst, the respawn timer from Delta Marine, Gold Fury being looked at by Astral Authority, and this is the one key moment for them to get back into this game.
And this is the right call. If I'm Astral Authority, if I'm the top card in North America and we've got an advantage, I'm taking full advantage of it. KhaoticPurpose does get deleted by pbnjellly, but I think they're okay with that trade, as now gold is all evened up after that Gold Fury.
Better to absorb and intoxicate onto KhaoticPurpose rather than getting it stolen by Intoxicate. The Gold Fury is stolen by Intoxicate.
No, you're exactly right. That Intoxicate is a really big way to confirm objectives, or as you said, to steal them away. Instead, KhaoticPurpose zones him out. No way for him to get in to that important objective at this point in the game, and instead that goes down in favor of Astral Authority, who are now slightly out in front, and they've got the numbers advantage. Now they can start looking on that solo lane side of the map as Portal Demon's about to respawn.
Honestly, I'm not writing Obey Alliance off quite yet. Even in a 4-on-5, Myflin's at level 17 Hebo jungle. This could be really scary considering how much damage he does. With 4 points into his ultimate, if Astral Authority are too grouped up, Myflin's eyes are going to just bulge. He's going to see red, and he's just going to go in.
I 100% think they need to play through Myflin on this Habois or Delta Marine on this Awheelix. They've both been lights out for him so far this game.
They've been making the plays happen side by side, even synergizing with Jelly's knockup as well. The amount of pairings that Obey Alliance have been able to do successfully, whether you look at Season 4 or Season 3 back in the Eager days, have been almost unmatched.
Portal Demon goes down to Astral Authority. Delta Marine, though, gets a pull in Transonic and forces the rewind. KhaoticPurpose lands in, but not much comes from that. Now pbnjellly is the one getting pulled back in. Coviiii up on those Tycho drums, locking pbnjellly down, sending pbnjellly back to base. But Myflin gets a big ultimate. Coviiii ends up falling, and a big water spout. 3 members real low, totally.
Myflin is not done with the damage. Delta Marine is going to chase out KhaoticPurpose on the left-hand side, but the rest of his teammates are abandoning him. Delta Marine is left alone, but he got the blink off just at the last second.
Able to get out of there, but as you pointed out, there just wasn't enough follow-up. Myflin makes the hero play, takes down Coviiii, even gets a huge water spout to bring him low, but there just wasn't enough follow-up afterwards, totally, and they end up getting away, trading 1 for 1, but Astral get the Portal Demon.
That's right. The blink ultimate from Myflin allowed them to sort of start gaining an edge in that one little team fight, but not able to capitalize on more than just that 1 kill onto Coviiii. Now that the Aegis and the beads are up for Raijin, I don't expect Coviiii to get surprised by that one the next time.
Delta Marine not going to be able to back here as Transonics is rotated in. Transonics is kind of watching him as he tries him back. He makes it up over the wall, and he's going to be able to get out of that one.
And with My Guy's blessing up, he doesn't have to worry about that time stop preventing him from moving any further. Walks away to the left side mid Harpies. 24 minutes into the game. Game is pretty much even with the exception of Dwurst still not back.
And totally 4 beads and 2 Mad Guy's Blessings, with possibly a third one on the way for Zachsy. Maybe not, but it's certainly possible. Is that too much of an investment just for Ares?
No, not at all. You do not want to get pulled. You do not want his ultimate to force your beads. You're better off forcing the proc of the Mad Guy's Blessing and saving those beads for something a little more valuable, potentially Chaotic Purposes, knock up on his ultimate.
Myflin could be in trouble here, though, Totally. There's several members around him. Forced to use his ultimate to get away. Chaotic Purpose goes up into the air, and he's going to crash down on top of him. The blink gets him out of trouble, though. Now he's in the back end facing off against Delta Marine.
But now the pull is going to happen from Brochacho, catching Jelly, even doing enough damage as Coviiii onto Delta Marine. It's going to be one dead member thus far from Obey Alliance, trying to hold in a 3-on-5.
pbnjellly has to use the Intoxicate just to keep Transonics away, but it's not enough. He hits him anyway, cleans up. pbnjellly now comes out. The Time Rift, he cleans that one up too. Coviiii taking down Myflin in the end. 3 members have fallen. Only alone Zachsy is left standing, and not for long. Essentially, a deicide comes out as Astral Authority look to take down Tier 2.
And I think they just want to end the game here, honestly. They don't want to try to dilly-dally and allow Dwurst back into it, potentially allowing Obey Alliance back into this game. They have enough long of a respawn timers from Delta Marine and Jelly to get this Phoenix.
They are going to be able to take this Phoenix. Delta Marine and pbnjellly only about 5 seconds total away from respawning, though, so I don't think they'll be able to go in and end. They are going to be able to get this Phoenix for free, and now they retreat.
The sustain from Wolves is showing us why Guan Yu is still a very powerful pick in the Smite meta. As long as you can transition relatively safely away from that laning phase, you don't get abused too hard, you're able to still make the impact, and that's something that Astral Authority have been succeeding with.
Now the Fire Giant is the call, as Obey Alliance have to work on just pushing up the minion wave to keep those fire minions as far from the base as possible. No way to contest this, and it goes down in favor of Astral Authority, but I don't think the impact Dwurst could be having here is overstated. It feels like they're just a hair away, and every team fight is Obey.
If they had an extra frontliner to absorb some cooldowns, if they had more slows with that Master's Will, more knockups from the Ox form, and then just that second body, the decoy that the Sun Wukong provides, this could be a different story. Obey Alliance could have certainly took this game in the bag with their early game performance and finding the split.
But Astral Authority are 100% doing the right thing. Push every advantage you get in a competitive setting. There's a lot on the line here for these console players, and Astral Authority up at the top, they're tied for first. They need to create as much space up there as they can.
Absolutely, trying to get the best possible seeding heading into the LAN. This is the last week of SCL competition. Unfortunate for Obey Alliance, but Astral Authority are not going to be worried about this one, as they probably will get some more objectives with their Fire Giant for another 3 minutes.
There are still 2 Tier 2 towers up on the map. They did clear 1 Phoenix already, and they've got 2 more behind those towers that they can go take up. At this point, Astral Authority have moved back in control with an 8,000 gold lead, even leading in the kills now, 16-4. 28 minutes in, Astral Authority are ready to push.
Looking really strong here, heading grouped up on the right side of the map. Tier 2 towers available. Fire Giants still around their waist for 2.5 more minutes. Going to try to split this up a little bit, trying to force some more fire minions to be dealt with under that mid, while they're still waiting for Transonics to get back grouped up.
KhaoticPurpose is able to get that minion wave under the Tier 2 tower on the solo side. Got a little bit of help coming in from Coviiii. Transonics not there just yet, but they still have plenty of damage with the Fire Giant. They take it down. Now the right side Phoenix is exposed, and everyone from Astral Authority's here, and it looks like right Phoenix will be the call.
It seems that Obey might need to give this up. I don't expect them to really hold this 4-on-5 on the right side. They would probably be better off around the Titan, but if I was Astral, I would go for all 3 Phoenixes before entering the Titan room, but instead they're going to dive onto Myflin in the back.
KhaoticPurpose does land right on the Myflin, forces a big-time ultimate to be used defensively. That's going to hurt for Obey Alliance. Phoenix very low on the right side. Phoenix gone on the right side. pbnjellly getting chunked by Transonics, who's here. Mad Guy's Blessing keeps him going, but now Intoxicate doesn't get the impact that they want in this team fight as 3 chains come out from Ares.
The pull, trying to force out a lot of these relics. Zachsy is going to be able to try to survive for the moment here. Still a 4-on-5. Titan does get pulled, and it's getting very low.
It's not just low, it's gone totally. Astral Authority able to come back here in Game 2, get the full sweep up against Astral Authority. It was without Dwurst there at the end, but All that counts is the win.
Very unfortunate for Obey Alliance and Dwurst, but at the end of the day, you got to play on no matter what. Astral Authority did that. They weren't concerned with a 5-on-4 advantage that they had. They just kept playing the game that they would normally, because honestly, if that happens to them, Obey Alliance would still do the same.
No, you're exactly right. They would keep right on moving on through, and you know who kept moving on through in this game? It was Coviiii in the mid, and he looked dominant.
Honestly, some of these Ryzen ultimates was what allowed them to succeed here. Hitting 3, dashing in without any fear, connecting on the in-hand onto Delta Marine. This was, I believe, his first kill of the game, and then the rest of his teammates were just right by his side. Anything that Coviiii did, he was surrounded, protected.
Yeah, Coviiii made sure that he had a big impact with those Taiko drums, and he used them like you often see excellent Raijin players do, using some of them for taunts, some of them for damage. Let that snipe over the wall, cleaning up Delta Marine. Coviiii piloting this Raijin to the maximum of the god's abilities.
No matter if it's the Soul or the Raijin, even trying to connect the damage through the wall is actually Transonics that find that ultimate time rift. But at the end of the day, Astral Authority playing lights out here in this set, now confirmed for LAN.
And Astral Authority really did look excellent. They looked like the top-tier team that they are, currently first seed, and with all 3 points they were secure in that match, they put a little bit more distance between themselves in the standings.
They won Valencia LAN the last time around. We'll see if they can able to hold that title as they approach the next one.
And this is just, it's a rough match for Obey. They looked excellent there. They looked good even in the 4v5 totally. I want to make sure I'm giving Obey Alliance every bit of credit I can.
I even called it too. I'm like, all right, they could still potentially win in a 4-on-5. Considering the way Myflin was playing the Hebo, he was able to knock up multiple members, hit those crucial tidal wave ultimates, and it was a little bit dicey for Astral Authority, even at 4-on-5.
And not just Myflin, KhaoticPurpose looked excellent on the Oilish as well in the mid lane. So that's one more thing. If you go up against Obey, you got to be worried about. But we still got even more SCL action coming your way. So give us a quick break and we'll be right back.